So, good afternoon, guys. So, I'm giving my dog away. Justin wanted me to give my dog away for adoption for whatever reason. It's taking attention away from him. It's taking attention away from our recovery process where the energy that I could be using to care for Justin or to prepare myself for him, I'm using it on the dog, and she's ending up irritating me more than helping me. Like at first, it was an emotional support. When she was indoors, it was good, right? She would sleep next to my bed. I try to get her on my bed. She doesn't really like being on the bed. She likes being on the floor, and that's fine, right? But I didn't really like the way my puppy, the way Erie smelled. Even if I bought conditioners, shampoos, everything to take care of her, um, she still, it was still always one thing over the other. When she first came into my life, she was, and I have videos to show you guys, she was actually, peeing on the mat, poop. She was well trained. She was literally potty trained. So the Spanish people that were taking care of her over in Vegas did a great job in training her. But when she got with me, she just lost control and started thinking she can do whatever she wants. Like in relationships, animal pet relationships, you have to train them to obey you as their person. Like that's why I can't have a big dog, because if a big dog becomes rebellious, it's going to be a very big problem. These animals need to be obedient no matter what. For crossing the street, the dog can cross the street when, if the dog doesn't listen to you and it's time to cross the street, it's time to stay calm, it's time to, they can run into the streets and get hit by a car, or you can get hit by a car trying to fight with the dog. So at this point, like, that also reminds me of the song when like Justin's like, I need you the most. So it's almost like everything that I have, how I give, what I give for that song is like everything that I have is like, he's always, his spirit and soul is always telling me like, whatever is in your life that you're taking care of, that's keeping you so occupied and getting your attention away from me, I need you to know that I need you the most. I need you more than your job. I need you more than your family. I need you more than your pets. I need you. I need you here. I need you here. I'm going through a lot. I'm this and that. And I'm just like, so finally I wake up to this relationship, and I'm just like, it's now all making sense. So let's hear the song. Now this music doesn't touch any other of his exes this way. They are so occupied with their own lives because this person is not their person, right? And so because it's not their person, they're not affected at all by him. You know what I mean? At first they were, but then it's just like when the person is not yours, you get exhausted of them. Even if I do get exhausted, I'm not saying it's just so perfect for me. I'm just saying like my soul is constantly reminding. He's always reminding me like even if he feels like I'm detaching from him, he'll start praying. If he feels the distance, he'll be like, oh my God, babe, like, he'll do everything to keep me coming back. And that's out of my control. Now that he knows I'm here, he's like, I'm not letting you go, so my job is to just keep going. Even if I did want to give up, my spirit is not letting me give up. So that's how that relationship goes. And for those of you who want to know about your relationship, your twin relationship, that's how it's going to go. And you just need to focus on preparing yourself to receive your twin, because I know that a lot of times you feel like letting go is a great thing, and focusing on yourself is a great thing, but finding a good balance and letting them know that you're here will help you stay calm. Like, you ever had that feeling like when you have your kids crying, you can tell when someone is crying when they're not feeling very good? Like, I feel that in my spirit with Justin. Like, I'm like, he's crying. He needs me right now. He's crying for me right now. I can feel him in my heart. And that keeps me from my daily tasks. So this relationship is our first priority. He's my first. The same song is like, girl, you're my priority. Now put your heart way over me. Like, I really feel that. And I feel like he believes that too. It's just he's struggling. He's just struggling emotionally with his ego, and not even just necessarily his ego, trust issues. And he just probably doesn't know if I'm going to be the one that loves him. Even if he knows that, he wants assurance, and I think that's where, the finances and stuff come in. But so let's listen to this song real quick. I need you, 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 I need you the most.
gave you the key when the door wasn't open. Just admit it. See, I gave you faith, turned your doubt into hope, and can't deny it. Now I'm all alone and my joys turn them open. Tell me, where are you now that I need you? Where are you now? Where are you now that I need you? Couldn't find you anywhere. When you broke down, I didn't leave you. I was by your side. So where are you now that I need you? Where are you now that I need you?
And that song speaks to me so much because now I understand, like, where are you now, like, you know, because we've came from lifetime past lives, lifetime after lifetime. I'm telling you, like, he's in my memory. He's there's an imprint of Justin Bieber in my spirit and in my heart, and I have memories before we were all here and living in this house and living in this apartment and having homes. We were homeless together. We you know, Abel and Adam were kicked out from the Garden of Eden to work for themselves. It wasn't like God, Jehovah, hated them. It's because Jehovah had to push them to build a house, living in the Garden of Eden without a home. You know what I mean? Without a place to live. And also he was angry. Jehovah was jealous. He was angry, and he doesn't really he is finally opening up to me, but you know, I had to pay a fucking price for him to open up to me, and he paid a price too. You know, it wasn't like he didn't pay a price. He was here, and I don't even want to say talk too much about him, because when I talk too much about him, there's just like this overwhelming feeling that I just don't want to feel, right? And it kind of makes me feel like I'm losing my breath, sort of. So I don't like talking too much about him. But you know, he got angry because, you know, he wanted to be Eve's wife, Eve's husband. That's the only person that Jehovah trusts fully with all his heart is Eve, you know. And when he saw Adam as like competition, a guy that's gonna take his girl. Oh, so Jehovah was like, no, I have somebody else for you. Like, you know, so Jehovah gave Adam one of his daughters. You know, when Eve and Adam had daughters, the two girls, he gave them as spouses, and they slept with their father and they got pregnant. Back in the days, that's what had to happen. Eve had to go find her two sons. I mean, once she found out Abel was dead, he had to go after Cain. And so once I went after Cain, me and Cain were walking together. We didn't know much of what to do. Jehovah was with us and he was watching over us. But you know, we ended up, you know, mating with each other and continuing our journey of a relationship. And it started from, like I said before, mother and son relationship, into husband and wife, and then into a best friend. That's what God says in the Bible. Your husband becomes your everything. He becomes your father. He becomes your wife. Well, Justin says, I only think of you as a lover, because the ultimate relationship is a spouse. Like, of course, you can't think about me like you can, but you shouldn't. Like, you know, it's a little weird. It becomes perverted. But what I love is that we're both two different races, so it's not like it's that weird to me. But to be honest, it sort of turns me on. I don't know why, and I'm not trying to be weird, but it kind of brings like this world. It turns me on for some reason. I don't know why. But none of my siblings turned me on whatsoever. I mean, like I told you in the past, like sometimes you feel people's energy and it feels like it's yours. But if that energy doesn't stay, it means that it's coming from their body, or it's just like a visit, you know, between each other, or something is happening between you two, but it's not really real. Because I've felt that before with my relatives, my little brother Leroy and my little brother Davis, when I was little, but I've never been attracted to them. I always saw my brother Davis as like ugly to me, but he's not like ugly, but you know, he's not my type. And I saw my little brother Leroy as pretty handsome, but you know, he was a little boy. He's not like my type. But there's always this energy. When you're a spiritual person, you feel their warmth, their energy. Whether it's a sexual energy, if they're turned on by you, you're gonna feel that. And sometimes you're gonna confuse it as if it's you being attracted to them, but it's really their energy coming from you. And I felt that energy was coming from my brothers, and I was like, okay. So I looked at them and I saw how they were looking at me, and so I was just like, okay, let me get away from this, and I sure did. And I know it's not me, because I didn't carry on with those feelings, like, because they're my little brothers. I want to respect them. I don't have any feelings for them like that. That's just weird. So when it came to me and Cain, when we were in our past, even Cain, when they were in our past life, they roamed around the world together. Jehovah never left Cain. He never, it seems like he did, but he gave you his wife. He gave, well, not wife, he gave you his sister. Eve was Jehovah's sister. She was never his wife. She was never, but they had to mate in order for, before Adam was made, Eve, they tell you that Jehovah made Eve, but Jehovah didn't make Eve. Eve was already the other half of him, and he already existed while this is what I'm guessing. This is what's coming out of my spirit. Because where is it coming from, So it's like, remember, he's been speaking to me, but he wants me to continue to say God made Eve because everything else is just absolutely confusing to the world. And we'll get into it a little bit later. There's also like a weird energy, like as if this is not supposed to be revealed, like, you know what I mean? But the Bible already said nothing secret shall be hidden, and everything that's in the dark will come into the light, whatever it is, and safely. And that's what we pray about. But so that being said, he had to give away. That's why people are wondering, why are we in this bad relationship? Why is it that we find our partner and then we can't be with them? Why is it that there's always something? Because we're sharing in the same suffering that Jehovah shared. He found his partner, which was his sister, right there, his other sister, his other half. Eve was Indian. She was never black. She was Indian, and she just, like I said before, she became black because that's where she was going, where she was needed. You know what I mean? And so the whole time they're like, oh, this is where, I'm the boss. But no, that's their ego is too high right now. And so they can't handle that kind of power. They start abusing beautiful women because they never had beautiful stuff happen to them before. They don't understand. In Africa, they don't understand beautiful women. They don't understand. I was born in this lifetime so that without colored eyes, because being born in Africa, they were hurting people with beautiful eyes. They don't understand. They think it's the devil, and they don't know what that is. They don't understand, because lack of, when you're ignorant, you don't understand beauty. You despise it and you hate it because you think it's scary. You see what that person sees right through you. And in Africa, they were always trained to be afraid of white people, and the most people that have colored eyes are white people, right? And so all her genetics she had from Jehovah, and they shared each other's traits or whatever in some way. So with that being said, he gave you her, and he wasn't very happy with Cain because he had to give the person that he wanted to be with. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be with then? And then things have to take their course in order for us to finally figure it out. And so these people all had to be born to teach us, and wisdom and knowledge was put inside of their brains or whatever. They went through suffering and got tortured and went through hell, and they learned about twin flames, twin connections, twin relationships, so they can educate us about our connection. Because lifetime after lifetime, we thought that we were sinners and we were so evil, and they made us feel like, we're fucking each other and this is evil, this is dark. And Justin probably feels like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's true. And it's like, now that we're in this lifetime, people won't make us feel that way because we're two different races. Not only that, we come from different families, and so we can be together, where it's not like illegal or weird. That's why a lot of his music is like what's that song? I know you can love me here. Like, listen to this song. This is Stuck in the Moment.
With you, with you. I wish we had another time. I wish we had another place. Now Romeo and Juliet, bet they never felt the way we felt. Bonnie and Clyde never had to hide like we do. We do. You and I both know it can't work. It's all fun and games till someone gets hurt, and I won't let that be you. Now you don't wanna let go, and I don't wanna let you know there might be something real between us two. Now we don't wanna fall, but we're tripping in our hearts, and it's reckless and clumsy. wish we had another time. I wish we had another place. But everything we have is stuck in the moment. And there's nothing my heart can't do. Fight with time and space. Cause I'm still stuck in the moment with you. See, like Adam and Eve, tragedy was our destiny. Like Sonny and Cher, I don't care, I got you, baby. See, we both fighting every inch of our fiber. Cause ain't no way it's gonna end right. But we are both too foolish to stop. Now you don't wanna let go, and I don't wanna let you know that there might be something real between us two. Oh no, and we don't wanna fall, but we're tripping in our hearts, and it's reckless and clumsy. And I know you can't love me. Hey, I wish we had another time. I wish we had another.
And it's so crazy because you know that Haley was stalking him, because the best way to know a guy's mind is to listen to his music. But she didn't want people to know that because she was scared that people would figure out that she was stalking him and figure out the truth about him. Because the whole time Haley is listening to the music, from what I'm guessing, I don't know for sure. I can't say that this is for sure. But the way it looks like, it's like she's listening to the music and she's acting the way, like he's like the lyrics, like trying to act like she doesn't want to fall in love with him. And he's literally like, she's just trying to listen, they're trying to listen to the song and make it seem like they're us, like, you know what I mean, when really it's not even real. Like, because if it was real, you can feel the burn. Like, there is a fire between two people that are madly in love with each other that you can feel. Like, even when they don't want to be together. Like, Justin, I can see when he was trying to have that fire with her. He was trying, but it just doesn't work. I've been there before where I tried to let it burn with my ex, Tyshawn, but it just wasn't burning. Like, the fire just wasn't burning, and it wasn't there. The fire was there with Tyler, but it stopped. Like, I asked God to take that away because it was making me so sick to the point where I was dying. It was almost like he was an enemy. Like, I looked at him like, yo, I can't go another. Like, with Justin, it's different. Justin is not hiding from me. I have some soothing. I have him. I see him. With Tyler, I took pictures so I can have memories of him. But, I'm like, people are going to think that I'm lying, So I'm like, I told Tyler, like, Tyler didn't even want me to take pictures of him because he felt insecure about his body. He was like, no, please don't take any pictures. And I'm just like, Tyler, I was like, I need to have memories of you. I want to remember you in case we don't see each other again. And I love you so much. And at the time, I did love him a lot. And I was pretty crazy about him, but I wasn't like following him around. I didn't want to fall in love with him. I wanted to run from our relationship. And the way it felt, it just really felt like we were made to be with each other. It just felt so real. Like, we were two fucking idiots in love with each other. And like, we were just like, both homeless, both going through struggles. And that's what I thought. That's when I thought, this is the guy for me. Like, I was like, okay, this is him. We're going to do this together. And it was hard to get him to stick around because he was still engaged with his other community, his people. And I didn't have a place for him to go. And so once I started to, after Tyler, I started facing the dark night of the soul. And that's when I went through it for 7 years straight, and that was the price I had to pay to be with Justin and wake up to my actual real twin. In life you have a false twin and you have a real twin. And so once the false twin was removed, because like at first I was hearing Jehovah, like I through my ex-birth mother, and he's like, I can do that too. I'm like, what? That's when I started hearing voices. And so before I moved into my apartment here, I went through the darkest nights of my life, and that's when I saw the face of Justin Bieber in my head, in my third eye, and I saw him on stage. I wasn't even looking at the TV screen. I just was looking at him in my third eye, and I saw cameras flashing all over me, and it felt like there was paparazzi in my room, literally, and I was so scared. But I could also see New York City. I could see Cardi B. I could see a lot of other artists. I saw attacks all over. Like, I saw like things blowing up, people coming out of big trucks, and I saw people handing money to people in the black community. Like, I don't know if it was me doing it. I feel like it was, or something. Like, I just wanted to make sure everybody was eating. Maybe that was me. I don't know. Maybe that was my mission, my calling. I would never give money to people that are not ready to have that money. I would, just to say, here, do it. But I have to do things properly if I'm going to do anything. I don't care too much about ruling the world, but if that was my agenda, I have to do things. We have to do things carefully, and teach them how to manage their finances. I don't believe in keeping finances and keeping good from people when it's in my power to give it to them. That's why I always want them to know, I'm not your enemy at all, but it's up to you if you want good to happen for you, because I'm not giving away. I mean, I'll give you whatever you need if you need it. Like, if you go to a shelter, you can't deny services to people that are in need. But if those people are being abusive, then you don't give them those services, because then they're going to use their power to abuse other people, right? And you don't want that to happen. So then you become the criminal in that case. If once you have that information and you still help someone that's hurting other people, then it's like you're a part of that. So it's being very careful in those things. So with that being said, that song really spoke to me, and it woke me up from our past, God, filthy past, right? And so they thought, no offense, guys, they thought we had some of the darkest relationships, but it wasn't like that. We all, something about our connection. Royals in Africa, royals usually keep it in the family because they don't trust people from other bloodlines. You know why royals keep it in the family? Because it the more you separate from your royal bloodline and start marrying other people, it thins the blood, and then you completely come out of that and you be born again, and it thins the blood. So the reason why Eve married her, because Eve was royal, Jehovah was royal. The reason why they mated with each other is because they needed to keep it in the family, because then their blood would stay thicker than water. And so Adam was made, and he was still a part of us. That's why Jehovah cared for Adam. He didn't make him just like some price. The reason why Jehovah took the rib out of Adam and put it in Eve was because he wanted Adam to stay alive. It was his most important creation. He favored him more than anything and anyone. Adam was the one that revealed to him the power of God, and Adam was mad because he felt like Jehovah took away his wife. He was like, that's my wife. You gave it to him, to my son, and what the fuck? It's not that. It's that's not, he didn't want you to have the wife. He didn't want you to. It had to be this way. He wasn't going to let this boy be alone, and so it wouldn't make any sense, right? And so I think he also saw Adam beating on Eve, and back in the days, husbands would beat on wives, and I think that's where that my mindset comes, where like, you can beat on me if you want, and wife beaters type stuff. And Justin Bieber, in a lot of his music, where he's like, I'm gonna take it out on you, babe, let me let you hear it. So yeah, it was Journals was the one album that really spoke to me more than anything. And I want to let you guys hear this song. Yeah, this song is called PYD. This song literally spoke to me like no other.
I'ma put you down. I'ma put you down. All the way down. From the door to the wall, coffee table, girl, get ready. I'ma put you down. From the stove to the countertop, dining room table, are you ready? I'ma put you down.
And real quick, like, my understanding of put you down was more like, at first I was thinking like, put me down, like put me in like whatever gang or whatever, like not gang. He's not in a gang, but whatever. He was the person that was gonna put me into he's my boss. Like, he's the one that was gonna put me down. And like, in gangs, they usually fuck people in, and they fuck people in their You know what I mean? You either get raped in or you get, you know, you fight in or you get raped in. And I think that's what happened with Justin. That's in the black community, that's what they do. Like in Bloods, they usually rape the girl, or they that's how they get her into their clique or whatever. And so put you down was sort of that's what it spoke to me, but it was like he's the one that's going to put me down. No, none of the other guys and none of the other people were going to be involved. And you know, it's okay. Like I wanted it to be that way, but that was, and I still do. I'd rather him be the one to, but he's the one that I want to be with. And so, with that being said, you know, in the song, he's like, prepare yourself, because I didn't know his dick was as big as it is. Like, so with me, like, you know, his thing is he likes anal sex, and that's okay. I don't think he's gay before liking it. That's completely understandable. Like, you know, I'm into it, you know, I'm okay with it. I feel like I want to learn. I want to know what it feels like to be loved back there. I've done it before, but it wasn't, I was drunk. And also the guy, my ex Tyshawn, was the only one who ever did it to me back there. And it didn't necessarily hurt because I was drunk and his penis wasn't half as big as Justin's. So it's a lot more different. Like now that I know, I'm kind of a lot more scared, you know, and I feel like it's gonna hurt me. Like I don't know what to do, but I'm not gonna be scared. And so that's where it's like, prepare yourself. I'm gonna put you down. So that's where his mind is, and that's where I feel like his mind is. But let's get back to it.
Up the stairs to our bedroom. Light a few candles. Prepare yourself, I'ma put you down. All the way down, down, down. On a plane, a train.
And I don't feel like he means it in a bad way, but at the same time he knows the pain that he went through for getting what he got back there himself. And so he knows that there's a possibility that I would be scared, you know.
An automobile, doesn't matter, I'ma put you down. All the way down. And it don't make no to be there. I'ma take it out on you, babe.
And right there when he says, I'm gonna take it out on you, babe, that's where I was like, oh yeah, that's the one I was made for. Because it was like, it's like I wasn't built to be scared. And I know there's a deep part of him that wants me to be scared, because it is scary. I am a little scared, but I have a desire to, I was designed to surrender to his desires, and so, to his will. And so I'm not supposed to run from him. I'm supposed to face him. And so with that being said, the universe put it in my heart to want him to hurt me, not hurt me, but put his hands on me so he can express his emotions. And whatever he wanted to do to people that he couldn't do, I'm the one that's supposed to be his punching bag, and he's supposed to be mine. But I don't want, because I was beaten on growing up a lot, and I never got to fight back ever. Like I was just hit with sticks at the age of 6 years old. And a very, by big women, not young kids, by real adults. They beat me with a fucking stick so big and thick and long until it broke. And it hurt so bad. I still remember, and I can't believe a woman would hit a child like that. And then she said that it was because she said I lied to her and I was with boys. She thought I was with boys when I was really not with boys. I was in school cleaning the classroom, because we're supposed to clean the classroom before we leave school. And so, you know, then she later on came back and went to school and asked her teacher, and asked my teacher where I was. And the teacher said she was here, she was cleaning, and she came home and she apologized. And I say, why didn't you just go ask the teacher first? The first thing you do is beat on me, you know, like assume I'm lying to you. Like she wanted to beat on me. And so Same thing with my ex birth mother. These people enjoyed putting their hands on me. They enjoyed tormenting me physically. They took it out on me, and I never got to fight back, and that's why I was like, well, I'm gonna beat I'm gonna give it to my husband, and I'm gonna give it to my husband. That's what I thought. It's like, who am I gonna give this to? Because now I'm about to fucking lose my fucking mind now that I'm older. But violence is not the answer. After what Justin's been through, I don't see myself even wanting to put my hands on him. Also, he's a very sensitive guy, and he has very sensitive skin. You know, white people have sensitive skin, and not saying that just because black people got thick skin, they can just take it, like, you know, be hit like that. Abuse is not good for any relationship, you know. But, you know, having sex with each other and smacking each other's ass, and, you know, rough sex, that's kind of what I'm into. Like, as long as I'm physically prepared to receive that body, then I can do that where it's not going to hurt me. But it has to be, that's what I'm doing, basically, just preparing myself to give myself away to him, and so that he can have me the way that he wants to have me the most. And you know, I'm just, all I can do is pray that he wants the best, because, and I feel like he went through what he went through to show that, hey, this is the only woman that's ever gonna love you wholeheartedly. And if you don't love her, if you don't connect with her, if you don't protect her, you're not going to have anybody else that's going to love you the way that she's going to love you, that's going to understand you the way that she understands you. Like, she doesn't want to hurt you. Like, I don't want to hurt you. And if we ever go through something, it's just because, you know, we're going through an emotional breakdown and we're facing whatever we have to face together. The universe is going to put us together to face whatever we have to face together. It's never going to be necessarily like, oh, wait till we all 1,000% better. I think that there are some things that are made for us to face together. And when those things come, you know, when that time comes, which, you know, I'm gonna do what we spoke about, and see where that goes and how serious you really are about meeting me. And so yeah, let's finish this song though. This will show you how much I love you, a form of appreciation, yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, the part where he's like, this will show you how much I love you upon my appreciation. Like, in my head, I feel like when people run from me, they don't love me. But when someone deals with me, they love with me. Like, you know, you're dealing with me because you care enough about me to deal with me, you know. But when you run off, it's because you don't want to deal with me, and you don't want to love me, and you don't love me. And so when he says, this will show you how much I love you upon my appreciation, which is super, it sounds sick, but it's understandable. Only we could understand, only I understand. I don't know if maybe other people understand it, but only they can tell us, right, in the comments. Sorry, I have like a cold from the weather. Ooh, you deserve the best and nothing but the best, so I give you the best. Just to clarify, I don't want to be in an abusive relationship whatsoever. I'm just saying those were that, you know, when a person is abused all their life, they start thinking that that's the way of life, and they start to turn that pain into love. And that's how they deal with when they can't escape the pain, they start to learn to accept it. And that's what happened to me whenever I was with my ex-boyfriend, and not my ex-boyfriend, a guy I really had a crush on named Gonzalo. You know, he asked me to come braid his hair, and my ex-birth mother would tell me, oh, I don't want to see you with boys. I don't want you to hang out with boys or whatever. And so my little brother was like, hey, his little brother said, hey, his little brother's name was Kenner, and he said, can you go tell Sandra that I need her hair braided? I need my hair braided. If she can braid my hair, I'll burn her CD. Back in Houston, burning CDs, like, they'll put music on your album on that CD for you that, you know, that we can't afford in the stores, and they will burn it for us. And he was Colombian, and he was like one of the cutest guys that I was interested. He was a black Colombian guy, like really light skin. And so he was like, I was like, oh my God. So my little brother was like, oh my God, Gonzalo wants you to braid his hair. Are you gonna get a chance to be next to him? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know. But I was in trouble, and my ex-birth mother, my sister's birth mother, was like, already said, I don't want to see you with boys. And so with that being said, I I was like, I can't go. And my little brother was like, this is your only opportunity, the only chance you're gonna have with this guy. You need to do it. And so I was like, okay. And they were like, we're not gonna tell on you. Like, oh, we promise. We want you to have this. You deserve this. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I did it. And I went to his house and I braided his hair, and our spirits, our energy was so strong. Like, we were so attracted to each other, and I can feel like his attraction for me, and he could feel my attraction for him, and like he would like slowly like put his like elbow on my crotch, sort of like when we were sitting on the stairs. But this wasn't the same day. And I was like, oh my god, I want to tell him how I feel. Like, this is so crazy. Like, he's just telling me how he feels right there, but I think he was shy to say it, like to say like, hey, I like you, like, because I was shy too. Like, we had the same class together, and and I was like, what, 14, 15 years old at the time, and we had the same class together. And he was like, I would stare at him and he would stare at me, and we would stare at each other, and I would think like, is he staring at me because he likes me, or is he like, I'm gonna stare at you because you're staring at me and you're making me feel uncomfortable? But he didn't give me that look like, I feel uncomfortable, I'm running from you. He gave me that look like, I like you too. Like, I don't know if it was I like you too, but he gave me that look. Yeah, I think it was. He just like kept widening his eyes, and just, we had a staring contest, and I just fell so in love with Gonzalo, and I was like, oh my god, what are we gonna do with each other? And so every time, like, I would talk about him, and I would melt in the restroom, and I would tell all the girls like Gonzalo. And so I would stalk him, literally. I would, like, not necessarily, like, he lived right in front of my apartment, so I didn't need to stalk him, but I would watch him through the window. And whenever he went on the patio talking to like somebody on the phone, whether it was his girlfriends or ex-girlfriends or whatever, I would go outside pretending like I'm talking to somebody, and it would look like we're talking to each other, but I would just be out there trying to see him, trying to look at him. And it was just so weird. And then with that being said, he with that being said, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that this was all after, like, or whatever, we started our we always had this thing for each other, and I would braid his hair. But then he hooked up with this Colombian girl who was a supermodel, and she ended up, he was mean to me, and he ended up getting beat up by some guy in front of my apartments. And his Colombian girlfriend thought I called black guys to jump him, and I was like, no, it's probably just karma. You're being mean. And I stopped talking to him because he thought, like, just because he was the cutest guy, he was the most popular guy in school. And so he thought just because he was the most cutest, most popular guy in school, I was going to allow him to just mistreat me. And so I was mad at him, and I was hurt. And so he got beat up. And so he came to school with a black eye, a big ass black eye and blood clots. And I watched him get beat up. But I wasn't the one that called guys to beat him up, I swear. I don't know what happened. And I feel like that was just the universe's way of repaying him for whatever. So I think he thought I called people to jump him too, because of what he said he told his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was like, I called some girl. His girlfriend was like, you call guys to jump my boyfriend. And I was like, I would never do that. I liked Gonzalo. Why would I call? I don't even know them. I don't know guys like that. You know what I mean? And so she bumped me in the hallway with her shoulder. And I looked at her, and I was like, she bumped me, right? And I was like, man, like, whatever. Like, she just like hit me with her shoulder. So I think Gonzalo told her to fight me, right? Because Gonzalo couldn't fight me himself. So I think he told her to fight me. And because Gonzalo had told me, like, leave her alone. He said he told Marilyn to leave me alone or something. But, maybe he didn't tell her to fight me. But I think Gonzalo knew what was going on. Like, he was trying to fuck me over. I mean, he was talking to another bitch in front of me, and I was like trying to get his attention, and which was her, I was trying to get his attention, and he cursed me out, and he was like, shut up, like, whatever. And I got hurt because he was talking to another girl, and I got hurt because he chose her over me, and we weren't even together, but I felt like we were on the verge of being together. And so with that being said, Gonzalo was like, so the girl bumps my shoulder, and then all of a sudden she all of a sudden I was like, I went and told one of my friends, my ex-friends in high school, was like, guess who bumped into me? And she was like, who? She was like, Marilyn. I was like, what the fuck? And the girl was like, what? The girl was like, and you didn't do anything? The black girl. And I was like, damn, like she made me feel like I was such a pussy. And I was like, damn, I need to go do something, or else they're gonna think I'm just some punk that's gonna get pushed around by some Spanish Colombian girl, skinny, like a model like me too. Like I didn't really have that model look, but I was skinny. They would call me that, but I didn't really have hips. Like they had hips and stuff. And so I went to the other girl that I really had a major crush on, a girl crush. It wasn't really like I want to have sex with her, but I was like, she would totally be my girlfriend. Like she was the only girl that I always thought that she was super cute, right? Her name was Giovanna. And she was Spanish too, but she was like a really like more like a white girl, Spanish girl. Like she was cute. And she looked better than, to me she looked better than Rihanna, way better. She just didn't have colored eyes, and so she was really dingy, and she always put her hair in a ponytail, and she was like a little model, and I loved her, and we would write each other letters, and I would try to hook her up with like some of the cutest guys, like Brandon B. King. His name was B. King. He was a rapper, and I hooked them up, and me and her connected well. And so I went to the class, and I was like, "Oh, Gonzalo." I went to the cafeteria, and I said, "Giovanna, where is Marilyn? Have you seen Marilyn?" And Giovanna didn't say no, I haven't seen her. I felt like Giovanna chose me over Marilyn. Giovanna was really nice, was like, oh, she went the other way. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, thank you. And so I went over there and I grabbed Giovanna. I left Giovanna. I was like, thank you. And then I went in the hallway and I tapped Marilyn. She was right there. And I was like, bitch, what the fuck did you why the fuck did you bump into me? She was like, you got me fucked up and this. And I had some house shoes on. You know how Justin always wears house shoes? Well, I had house shoes on too in school or whatever. Like, I feel like over there at school is just a fucked up education. And so in the industry or whatever. And so I had my house shoes in my hands, in my shoes. I took them down. I had them in my hands. I put them down and I just threw the first punch and I fucked her up and I had her on the floor and I just started punching her. She had like black eyes or whatever. And that's what they told me. And the police came and everybody was like, fight, 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 fight. Everybody wanted me to beat her up, wanted someone to beat her up, especially the little white boys, like the nerds. They felt like she was being bullied to them. Like they all started waving at me and stuff like that. Like after I beat her up, I became popular all of a sudden. And they were all like, oh, they were like, so how does it feel to win the fight? And I was like, well, she's a fucking skinny ass bitch anyway. And it wasn't like I beat up like Godzilla. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, I can't, but that was my first fight in school. And my ex-birth mother was gonna come and she was like, I was like, if she comes to try to beat me up for defending myself, I'm gonna fuck her up too. So when she came to school, I was like, I don't care anymore about this shit. When she came to school, she didn't mess with me. She just stayed quiet. And so the police came and grabbed me and Maryland. They grabbed me and they took me. It was a black cop. They grabbed me and they took me into the cafeteria. I got expelled from school. I got put in a different school, and that's when I moved to LA. My ex-birth mother was living in LA, and she was no longer in Houston. So she was like, "You're just gonna have to live with me because I can't go to court to keep coming to Houston and take you to court." So she moved me to LA, and then she put me in like acting classes, and she put me in Hollywood High School. And she was like, if you don't want to go to school and it's too hard for you, you don't have to. And that's what I felt like she was like, that's what made me feel like she was a good mother to me, because she wasn't forcing me to go to school, but at the same time she was wishy-washy. So I was like, nah, I'm good. But then she would pay for us to be in acting classes and stuff like that, me and my sister. And so anyways, I got into a fight, and so I didn't finish telling you what happened. Like, I went to Gonzalo's house to braid his hair, and she found out that I was over there when I wasn't supposed to be, and she started hitting me so hard with a belt, and she hit me with a belt on my head. She hit my breast, all over my body. Well, she did that with my sister, but she hit my entire body, and my body was like, I'm going to numb this out. Like, my body, I was like, I'm not even going to cry for her, because I felt like she wanted me to cry. She wanted to hear me cry. And I was like, nah, I'm not even going to cry. And she beat on me with that belt until she lost her breath. She even fell back. I was like, fuck that shit. Somehow I managed to numb. I feel it like it was God who gave me that. It was horrible, man. I never want to put my kids through that. And I felt bad that my daughter was being that I had to spank my daughter, because my goal was like I would never spank my child because I never want them to feel that way. But everything changes when that child comes. And even if she was a little girl, like, you don't know how to communicate. It's a lot different when you don't have money. You can't take away toys. It's a lot different when kids are not into materialistic things, etc., etc. All right, well, we'll talk more about it later, and that's the end of this video. So I'll talk to you guys later.